And we are live. Good morning. Welcome on your TV sets in Texas and Louisiana. We are coming to you on the Smart Money Culture TV network, as well as joining from around the world on LinkedIn and YouTube and X and all the rest. I'll tell you what, it was a heck of a weekend, wasn't it? Everything that went on is just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable, really. This attempted assassination on Donald Trump, former president of the United States. Donald Trump. We had a attempted assassination. Really, just the guy fits all of the things that you would expect. That guy fits. Unbelievable, really situation. A total failure on the part of on the part of the Secret Service, the FBI, all of these places, so much that it makes you wonder if it was on purpose. Do you think it was on purpose? I think that probably. Well, I guess I'll leave that to you. But I don't know how you have that much going on and have it not be on purpose. I am. That's what I think. We're going to review some of the video in a little bit here, but it is really troubling, and it's unbelievable as well that we had such a situation that went on and that he walked away from it. I mean, really, we've never seen anything like it. Most of you were not around. I don't know, most of you. A lot of you were not around when JFK was assassinated. And that would be the kind of the closest thing. I guess Ronald Reagan as well was also, they tried to take Ronald Reagan out. My computer's having a little bit of a hard time here. I'm not sure why. That is no joke, right? That is really no joke. And we have I'll play some of the videos here. I got to get this link over to my man, Matt Dixon. Matt Dixon, of course, will join us. I just got to figure out how to get it over to him. My computer is having a hard time. Imagine that. So hopefully it's not going to mess with us too much. But I mean, really just absolute craziness that this guy was allowed to get so close for so long to the president. And I mean, all right, so I'll just start here. I'm going to play some videos. Of course, the markets are absolutely flying. The markets are just flying. We have the US dollar is sitting there on support. I mean, it literally is just sitting there. And all the markets are basically at resistance. Bitcoin blew through 60K, so it's at the next resistance now. Most of the other markets are sitting at resistance up above. U.S. dollar is sitting on support. So as the Fed chair comes out, we do expect him. I think everybody expects him to start talking about interest rates. And if that happens, the market's going to fly even more. So if you watch the show, you have entered into your positions, and you are pretty happy right now. I know we are. And you should be too, because that's the way it works, guys. That's the way it works. Watch the show and get tips and make it happen. Not financial advice and all that good jazz. Now, if we, what I did was, it ended up being what do they call it? It ended up being a thread, because I just started. And what I started with was, I'll show you. Let's see, Bruce Porter. All right, this will work. Started a thread here. So I'm sharing now. And now this is the video that really rocked the world here. I said, the CIA has known mind control technology. They found a suitable man. They scrubbed a digital footprint. The Social Secret Service gave him time to set up on the roof, ignoring warnings about a man with a gun aimed at Trump. They let him take clear shots, then killed him once Trump fell. Now they investigate themselves. So
that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So I'll put this down for a second. They were obviously lining them up. All right. They set up here. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll mute this tab so I can talk about it. Okay, now I'm going to bring this right up.
Look at that. Again. So that arrow is the lowest
so
amount
they're
of illegal
immigration
right ever in recorded history into our country.
Okay? I mean, you know, I wasn't there. Obviously, this is a video that somebody shot.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took
lining
over.
Them up right there. Now,
and
there was
look
a
what happened to our country.
Post.
Probably 20 million people.
To be this,
and you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And anyway, if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
They wouldn't give him the go-ahead to shoot. Now, you take that and you put it as well with, and again, I did kind of a string here. Here, I'll show you this. I don't know if a guy like this would post on 4chan. Okay. I don't know about that, but anyway, he says, my name is Jonathan Willis. I'm the officer in the famous photo. It does show he's a police officer. Now, if you look right here, this is a Mason secret society thing he's got on there. So that is interesting. My name is Jonathan Willis. I'm the officer in the famous photo of the two snipers on the roof at the Trump rally. I came here to inform the public that I had the assassin in my sights for at least 3 minutes, but the head of the Secret Service refused to give the order to take out the perp. 100% the top brass prevented me from killing the assassin before he took the shots at President Trump. Now, posted on 4chan. I mean, it's hard to, but that should be lead number one. We should all be going for looking at that guy. Now, here's another video, and this one actually got reposted by my main man over here, Thomas Massey, and the Fed. He said, "What the heck? Look at this," and I agree with him. What in the world? So people were actually yelling about this guy, and they did nothing. They did nothing. This is supposed to be like the foremost.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific. He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this.
Look, they're all pointing.
They're all pointing. He says.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look.
Someone's on the upper roof. Look.
There he is right there.
They're talking.
Right there. See him?
They're yelling in a minute.
He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Lots of people were saying. Lots of people talking.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
There he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people.
Clearly crawling on the roof.
Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug dealers. We have people that
right
should not be
here.
He's on the roof right there.
It's much
Police.
lesser than it happens.
You went flat on the roof again.
He was doing the job. I
I'll let
wouldn't
that
be
play one more
doing this.
time.
I get some beautiful places.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there. See him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And so I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a Senate.
What's happening?
Listen,
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug
right
dealers. We have people that
Right
should not be
here, right
here.
on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof with that.
He was
unbelievable, really. It is unbelievable. And see, you know, the thing that we have, and I'm going to bring Matt on, and I know we're a couple minutes behind here, but you know, the thing is, I'll bring him on here. As I talk about it, the thing is that most people believe that our intelligence agencies were involved with the assassination of JFK, and so you sit there and you look at something like this, and there's no way. I mean, if I was doing security for the place, we would have made sure that a rooftop was covered. It's unbelievable. We'll talk more about it. Let's talk about the markets. Sir Matt Dixon the Great, how are you?
Hey, good morning. Fine, thank you. Yeah, shocking news. Couldn't believe it when I first heard it. I was surprised.
I mean, it's shocking, but at the same time, I'm like surprised in a way that he's been able to do all of these rallies and everything else and not it hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
They don't call it an attempted assassination, I guess, because they got the guy, I think, before he fired the shot. But down in Vegas, in the first anyway, years ago, there was another guy and he had a gun and he started to pull it out and they got him.
Sorry, I missed it. I thought Trump ear was clipped. Is that wrong?
Oh no, this was years ago. Trump's ear was clipped. Absolutely, they got him. I mean, unbelievable moment in the history of the United States and in the history of the world. I was talking with one of my neighbors about it over the weekend. I was at a crab feast as it all happened, and I logged back into my Twitter and everybody's like, Bruce, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, they got him, and no one talked about it, but I saw some initial photos, and they had bullet holes they had one bullet hole as well in his thing. They never talked about it again, but it looked, I mean, unless that photo was fake, which didn't look like it, they got him, and his bulletproof vest saved him.
Yeah. Anyway, I know you got a lot to talk about today, so I'll just jump straight in.
The markets are just a beautiful, beautiful thing today, aren't they?
Waking up nicely, yeah.
Yes. Don't mean to.
Had it all lined up.
Share the wrong thing there. We're on there. There you go.
Sorry. Yeah.
Anyways, here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Markets
are woken up. Let me just see. I'm not really showing the right thing again. I'm looking for the DXY really. So the markets tend to work. The DXY, the dollar index, seems to be inverse pretty well to, there's a reasonable correlation, inverse correlation between the DXY and the risk assets. So DXY here, you can see it's testing this support level. So it came down. This was actually anticipated in our previous shows. We talked about this corrective move up, and all these circles represent the overlapping nature of the move up. So for example, this move down here overlapped this move up here, and this move down here overlapped this one here, and then it continues. So very overlapping. So that's very indicative of a corrective move. It means it's against the trend. And so when you see movement which isn't overlapping, so for example, we see a move down here, move up, move down, the move up. This move up didn't overlap this move down, and this move down hasn't overlapped this move here. So there isn't overlapping here. So this is more of an impulsive move. So it looks as though maybe the direction of the dollar has changed now to the downside, which is actually good risk assets. We need to see weaker dollar, and weaker dollar will come about because the Fed are potentially looking more likely to look at lowering interest rates. So we've got Fed Chair Powell speaking again tonight, and some more testimony, another speech, information being released. Maybe they're going to become a little bit more dovish on interest rates. And I have heard talk that they're potentially going to move they were talking about one rate cut before the end of the year. They're now talking about potentially back to 2 again. And
they're even floating back to 5 cuts. I was like, oh, come on, guys. No. That'll really send everything flying. But yeah, it's that's
so there may be a first cut in September, possibly.
Yep.
So clearly they are seeing the interest rates potentially lowering. They're seeing information data coming through, which is going to make that possible. So we had CPI news, came out weaker than everybody expected. And that's what caused this. There's a little bit of a delayed reaction, but that's really what's caused this weakness of the dollar. If CPI comes out lower, it means that they can lower, or they're more likely to be able to lower interest rates. So the pressure on interest rates is reducing. So that means the pressure on the dollar remaining stronger is reducing, and so the dollar's weakening. And that's always good for risk assets. I say always. In the longer term, it's good. Short term, you might see some little fluctuations, but in general, weaker dollar is good for risk assets. So we'll jump into Bitcoin. So I've had a really nice pump on Bitcoin. This was a channel we talked about the last show, long held parallel channel. I won't go back into the length of it, but it's over a year now. It's held within a parallel channel. This is the bottom of the channel. And we said this is great from risk reward perspective to start DCAing into Bitcoin. And we can see that the price did move up, and I labeled it as potentially a leading diagonal. And I'll just jump very quickly into my X feed here and just show you where. So this is a typical example of a leading diagonal. This is just from a chart book, basically showing a leading diagonal. It's an impulsive wave, but it's one of those few waves. It's one of those few exceptions where you can get a 3 count. So it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And that is what appears to have happened. And this was the actual corresponding movement, actual movement with Bitcoin. So we can see kind of ABC as a 3 move, 3 move, 3 move, 3 move, and 3 move. So it's quite a typical leading diagonal. Now, a leading diagonal is basically an impulsive move to the upside, even though it's in waves of 3. It is a diagonal. You normally get a small retracement back and then a strong push to the upside. So coming back to the real market, this was what I had labeled as a leading diagonal, labeled as a larger wave 1. We got a very small pullback, and I said that it would be a modest pullback in my X feed before it even happened. I said we expect a modest pullback, and it's actually very modest, less than I expected. But there was a 3-wave pullback, and then we moved quite powerfully to the upside. So this is encouraging. This is telling us that potentially that bottom is now in place. And if this channel were to hold, the target to the upside is around a 90,000. There is some resistance, some solid resistance around 84,000. There's some Fibonacci levels there that are important. So my immediate target, if you DCA'd in around these levels, I'd be protecting those now with a small stop loss, just in guaranteed profit. So then no matter what happens in the world, you don't lose money. And you can hopefully ride the wave up. Even if there's a bit of correction, you can still hopefully hold your position and ride the wave up. And target probably a minimum 84,000, possibly higher. And we could actually break beyond this channel, but these are just areas of resistance, areas of possible turning points in the market. So I always trade conservatively, and it's good to have your targets in place and at least protect your position. So if we did move up here around 84, you could protect maybe 80,000 or 79,000 or something, and then hope it will blast higher, or you can take your profits and be happy. But this is looking encouraging, and the markets across the board are looking encouraging. But Litecoin, this is quite an interesting one. So Litecoin, again, we had as a target, basically a lift-off target point here. Price lifted off, but we had resistance, and this resistance again was labeled in advance. And the reason we have this resistance, we can see here, I'm just zoning out a little bit here. So we had to move down, which I labeled as an A wave. Then we had some kind of choppy B wave to the side, and then the C wave down. So the resistance is going to be the bottom of this A wave. So that's why I've drawn this dotted line across here. And that's why price right now came up to that dotted line. And so far it's been rejected. So again, if we open that up a little bit, you'll see that price went precisely pretty well to the penny, to this dotted line, the resistance level here. This is the resistance level. Now we need to break this resistance level to break higher. So what's going to do that? We'll need to see that dollar index hopefully breaking its resistance in the other way. So this is resistance to a break higher, and then dollar index, going back to that, we've got resistance to a break lower. So we need dollar index to break lower, which will in turn push Litecoin and others through resistance higher. So you can now begin to see the opposing relationship between these factors, the US dollar and these risk assets. So we need US dollar to break lower on that chart, which will enable risk assets like Litecoin, Bitcoin, and others to break higher. It's looking encouraging, and we had an amazing breakout on XRP, and we've been talking about this.
Oh yeah,
Finally
made it. Finally did it.
Finally did it. Yeah. Again, we were talking about potentially DCAing all around this sort of level from this previous low here downwards. I expected XRP possibly to touch a bit lower, but I did say we should be DCAing around these levels because you never know the precise low. And it's almost as though it's designed to catch people out. So if you're waiting for a precise low, using a Fibonacci level or something, usually you won't get it. So this is why DCAing is important. Dollar cost averaging, you're just averaging your price. This sort of area that the price is going to dip into. So that's the sort of area that you're buying into. So all these, when the price is below this previous low here, every time it went below there is a good area to think about DCAing. So there's two good, clear opportunities there. And price has moved really nicely, dramatically higher. So we had XRP here at 38 cents, and we hit over the weekend, we hit 56 cents. So massive movement to the upside there. We're still 53 cents now, and the movement is looking kind of choppy. I think we're going to see more upside. But again, so much depends on this US dollar that at the moment it's just getting a little bit of a bounce, but there's no real activity yet until America opens properly. So let's keep a close eye on DXY. Other assets, gold, again, we've been saying for a long time that we're in this correction. It's going to break higher at some point. We may chop around lower. We may well pull somewhat lower, but it's still a correction. So we would expect new all-time highs to come for gold in the not too distant future. So again, every time we dip to these sort of levels, I'd be looking at DCAing, basically buying the lows, buying the dips. So you don't buy peaks, you're looking always to buy dips. So when you see a dip in price, when you see it moving sharply down around these sort of levels, you can see a zone here where I've got the dotted line between here and here, a zone. So I'd be looking to DCA anywhere around there. So we had 3 or 4 opportunities, 3, 4, 5 opportunities maybe to DCA around these levels with reasonable confidence that we're going to break to new all-time highs in the not too distant future. Even if we were to chop lower, it would just be another DCA opportunity, I believe, and expecting that move higher. So we've had continued really positive price action from S&P 500, SPX shown here, just about at or near all-time highs again. And again, they always say that, the trend is your friend. So whilst the trend is higher, you can't bet against it. Don't try to catch a falling knife or the reverse here, a rising trend in price. Don't try to go against something which is in trend, in place. You've got to wait for a turn, and you've got to wait for some indicators. And we don't have those indicators as yet. We don't even have divergence here. So I'm just looking very briefly. What I look for when I'm looking for turning points in the market, I'll look for potential divergences here between RSI and between the actual price peaks here. So I'm just drawing them in so we can see quite clearly here, just looking at the corresponding precise movements. It's round about there. you can see basically we're getting rising RSI and rising price. That means volume picked up whilst prices picked up. So there's no divergence there. That's telling you that there isn't any particular tiredness, exhaustion in this market. The market is still being pushed up by volume. So there are still plenty of buyers there. So in that situation, I wouldn't really be looking to bet against the market. And so we would wait, definitely would be waiting for better opportunities if you wanted to short the market. Right now is not the time. There's no confirmation. We've had a fantastic move on Ethereum. So obviously Ethereum's had the green light for the ETF. So looking positive. We are overbought on RSI here. We do actually have some divergence in place on this one. So I'll just draw that in briefly. Looking at from this price peak here to this price peak here, you can see that's a downward sloping line. And then the corresponding level from here to here is upward sloping. So that's actually telling you at the moment of hidden bearish divergence. So it's actually telling you that the price of Ethereum is likely to at least get a retracement back from here. So that's what I would expect. So maybe that's leading the way. Maybe that's going to tell us what's going to happen across the board at the moment. Maybe we get a little bit of pullback, because when you hit resistances, like we just mentioned on Bitcoin, well, most prominently on Litecoin, for example, when you hit a resistance, it doesn't normally, if it's going to break through at all, it doesn't normally do it first time round. It normally hits against it, pulls back, and then maybe have another run at it. Same with
look at Bitcoin. It went up to 60,000. What, like three times, 4 times?
Exactly, yeah. And that's what it does. It tends to test and test and test, and it weakens the resistance each time. Every time it tests, it takes out a few more stop losses around that level, but maybe not enough power to take it through in the first go. And that's why it takes sometimes a few attempts. Same here with dollar index. We hit support here. We've bounced up off support a little bit. So it just may be that it needs a few more goes to break through. So that's why I think probably if I really analyze this chart, I'm sure I'd be able to find some support or resistance level around here. But what we've done, we've got here the hidden bearish divergence, which is telling you of a continuation of downtrend. So I would expect most likely some pullback from here. What we would wait for normally is a closing candle. We don't yet have it. We have a red candle. If that closes red, then basically we've got the potential for a turnaround, for a bit of a pullback in most of the assets. So short term, really short term, I am expecting a bit of a pullback, although things are looking encouraging slightly, maybe medium term, but short term, things are looking as though we may get a bit of a pullback. I was surprised actually with that news that came out with Trump that nothing happened in the markets. Maybe it's because it was, in the end of the day, a non-event, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, except for that guy, right? I mean, he handled it like a champ. I mean, you gotta it's something else. I don't know if you've ever been shot at, but it is an eye-opening experience. And there's actually a lot of talk about some of the people in the crowd behind him, like not having any reaction. And I'm like, well, I don't know if you guys have ever been shot at, but the first time you get shot at, you're just kind of like a deer in the headlights. And then after that, you start to, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. And then the next time you react differently. But it was kind of a non-event, but I feel like, I don't know, the markets were just primed for this. I mean, I don't know. It's dirty. It's a dirty business. The world right now is dirty. So yeah, it was very much a non-event.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bold response. So it was handled very, very courageously, I guess, and just carrying on. And so maybe the markets, nothing happened, I suppose, at the end of the day. There's no, things could have been so much worse than the market.
I mean, I think that one of the biggest things that happened is that the total and complete failure of the Secret Service, the FBI, the CIA, and all of these agencies that are supposed to keep it safe. I mean, the guy literally crawled on the roof. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people saw him, and they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable. I cannot fathom how that could be the case. It just doesn't make any sense that it's so blatant, so obvious.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense because we know how tight the US security services are.
Yes.
They don't allow this sort of gaff, so it all seems a bit odd,
Yes.
to be honest. Yeah.
For sure. It seems odd to us too. We're all like, oh my gosh. Everybody, the whole world.
Yeah. Anyway, we're seeing some really good movement across the board, really. Positive movement so far from crypto. But as I say, it looks as though we're actually pulling back from the highs that we saw across the board. As I say, we can see there with Ethereum. We had a really nice move with ICP, which is, again, one of our favorites.
Yep.
We're expecting some movement higher, and that's what we've got. We've looked at Litecoin. We've looked at gold. Oil has got, again, just sort of treading water at the moment, but again, if we look slightly longer term and just scroll out a little bit, we're talking about divergence here. We had some hidden bullish divergence, and precisely at that point, we got a strong push higher. So these divergences, as I say, they're one of the few or one of the more accurate indicators that I use and that I look at. Most of them are lagging. They talk about this as being a leading indicator, although that's not strictly speaking true, as I've said before, but it is definitely one of the better indicators telling you of turning points. So you have what's called regular divergence, both bullish and bearish, and you have hidden divergence, both bullish and bearish. And there's particular setups for that, which maybe we'll look into one day, but for now, not worth it. So Solana has had a tremendous push to the upside. Don't forget, we bottomed just very recently at the 120 sort of level, somewhere around 120, 121, and we're now at 152. So again, we're talking, big percentage move to the upside. But here, again, we've had this potentially, that was the completed correction higher. But it looks to me as though, anyway, we may, because we had that indication, that lead indication perhaps on Ethereum, that maybe we're going to get a short-term pullback. Maybe again we get a short-term pullback because this at the moment doesn't look too impulsive to the upside. We need to see more price appreciation. Again, just like the others, this is a resistance level, a previous high here that we had here, and I'll just put that in there just so we can see it. Horizontal array, just somewhere around there. You can see that we reached that level almost precisely, and we're ejected from the level, so we can look at where the price has gone now. We've already got a red candle in the making. This is all choppy movement. I'm not ready or comfortable yet to say that this is an impulsive move to the upside. So, as I say, that was very telling that we just saw on Ethereum, the fact that, we've got that hidden bearish divergence and a red candle. And the fact that we've hit resistance on virtually every asset we look at right now, we're on resistance. So because of that, I'm very cautious. I wouldn't be looking at jumping in long right now into the markets. Here's the S&P 500. Once again, we may get a short-term pullback. I did check here for divergence. There isn't any here. So potentially the way is still open to go higher. But actually, the traditional markets like S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, they have actually been pushing higher even while cryptocurrencies were pushing lower. So usually there's a reasonably good correlation between S&P, well, actually, particularly NASDAQ and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. There's really a good correlation. That's broken down a little bit recently because the traditional markets have been faring better than the crypto markets. And that's because of internal news, specific news to Bitcoin. We had these, these seizures in Germany where they've been releasing those to the market. So there's been big sales there. We had some of the Mt. Gox tokens released to market. There's going to be quite a few more to come, I think, throughout the rest of July. So there are quite a few sales going on, but there've also been some purchases as well to kind of match that. So there are some notable sales going on within Bitcoin at the moment, big sales, and that's what's been holding the price back. But we haven't had the same sort of thing with, and you don't get the same sort of thing really with traditional assets like, the indices like NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P. So that's why there've been a bit of a breakdown in the short-term correlations between them. But longer term, the correlation still stands. But short-term, occasionally you get a breakdown, which is precisely what we've seen. So Bitcoin hasn't performed quite as well as we would have hoped recently, but it's still looking hopeful because I do think this is a solid break off this support here. So I'm still hopeful with that. And again, just as usual, to finish off, we'll have a quick look through at some of those other tokens. Toncoin is still looking strong, well over the $7 area. Had a bit of a pullback today so far. Shiba, looking positive. Doge, again, always positive, but we're right down at those levels. And I remember talking about this on a previous show with Bruce, and we're talking about buying in at around these levels. So maybe it'll chop around here. Maybe we'll get a bit lower, but probably these are areas to think about DCAing carefully into some of the assets. And as usual, we see, for example, Book of Memes, slightly positive territory today, but again, sitting around support. I just want to see if we can break those resistance levels on the DXY, it will be a great area, and that will give us confirmation. Right now, I'd be very tentative about DCAing, but I'd be thinking about it. But I'd be waiting for a break on dollar index, a break lower. If we see a break lower, then all short bets are off. I'd be looking then at DCAing for long in all sorts of different assets. And one that was mentioned the other day, Ondo was one I think you asked me to look at.
Yep.
I can't remember who it was who asked for it, but anyway, yeah, it's had a bit of a positive move, but again, it looks kind of corrective. There's overlap here, so you can see this move down here, even here. Basically, it overlapped this move up here. Every move is being overlapped. So actually, maybe we do get, and as I say, I keep jumping back to that XRP. Not XRP, sorry, Ethereum, telling me that potentially we're going to get a short-term turn in the markets. So that's just what's now flavoring my thoughts on the market.
Can you look at Polka Gold? Are they on your chart, Polka Gold?
Polka Gold. I'd have to probably Polka Gold.
Polka Gold, yeah.
I'd have to just put it in there. So sorry, spell that
POLKAGOLD.
I've got Polygold, Polka Gold.
Is it not on there yet? It's a newer
It's
asset.
not on here. Is that a new token?
It's newer, yeah. Okay, we'll look at it some other time. They locked all their liquidity. So there's like everything. It put a bunch of Algorand in there, and it's moving up pretty nicely. I entered a couple weeks ago. I'm up.
Okay, I'll have a look at it. I mean, I look on CoinGecko quite a bit. I'm sure it'll be on CoinGecko.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have a look at that. Not right now, but
Yeah.
I will take a look and we'll perhaps revisit that.
Cool.
Okay, so that's probably a wrap for today. But just to tell us, I'm being a little bit cautious, really, just to summarize, because I'm being, influenced by this Ethereum chart in particular. And that's given me a little bit of concern that potentially we're going to see a bit of downside. We've had a really good weekend. That's often the case, that you see the weekends sometimes move against a trend, and then after the weekend, the markets open up again, and you then get a reaction from it. So as I say, Ethereum's giving me cause for concern. So right now, I'm not jumping in long, but I will be watching dollar index very, very carefully, especially tonight with Fed Chair Powell's speech, and I'll be watching out for upcoming news to see where that goes. As I say, if we break dollar index, if we break the back of the dollar, then I think we're looking much higher for crypto assets. But that's what we need to watch, the US dollar. So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Impact Money viewers, and look forward to catching up tomorrow.
Cheers.
Cheers, Bruce.
Talk soon. Thank you. The great Matt Dixon. Matt Dixon. The Market Watch Report, always one of my favorite parts of the show. So a couple of things. I did mention Polka Gold. Polka Gold, I'm long on Polka Gold. I think that this asset, it's backed by Algorand. They've locked all the liquidity. I think it's very interesting. So make sure to check that out. I've been talking about it I've been talking about it. I'm up quite a bit on that one, and you can get a lot of it. Another one I want to talk about here was our good friends, Coin Vigilante watches. The Coin Vigilante watches. These things are pretty cool, and they are Coin Vigilante watches. Now you can let me just share this screen. Coin Vigilante. Now you can get 10% off on these Coin Vigilante watches. Use the code Impact Money if you are watching on YouTube or something like that, LinkedIn. You'll see a link. You can just click the link and follow it right there. Coin Vigilante watches, beautiful watches here. You can also Vigilante watches is the company that makes it, and you can also have these made, custom made for your company. So we may get a Impact Money one here in the future. But you see beautiful timepieces. I love mine. I wear it quite a bit, especially when I have meetings. That's what I talked about. Of course, this is the ladies one here. Yeah, anyway. It actually looks better there on the thing. But Coin Vigilante, make sure to check them out. Extremely limited in these Bitcoin ones. Very nice pieces. American made. Okay, they are American made. Now I'm just going to switch back here to my polka gold. Look at that polka gold. Look at that. It's up. On the 7-day, up 18%, 20%. I knew my bag had gotten bigger. I knew my bag was bigger. Look at that. 20% almost on the 7-day on that polka gold. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to set up, I have the Impact Money Show URL. I'm going to take some time to get that site up here. One of the other things that we're really, not your keys, not your coins, right? So we have the Tangem wallet. You get your seed phrase, okay, and it's you get the little card. So again, here on the Tangem, you go to tangem.com, and you can get your wallets here, okay, and you can pop those. You can use those with the app or the phone or whatever you want. You can get 2 or 3 of them, so you can back them up. Nice casing. And actually, I'll just go over to there too, because that is a pretty nice looking Tangem. Use the code Impact Money. There we are. Tangem, your wallet. So if you are in the Polkadot or Polka Gold community and you're watching this show, because I know a lot of you guys are, if you buy this or if you go over to their Telegram and tell them you want Polka Gold on here, they were pretty open to adding it, but we need to go on there as a group and let them know, and then we can do some bonuses. And so that's what I think. If I set this up on my site, maybe I'll give out some bonuses in Polka Gold. But you can get this right now. Get a 10% discount. See how it works here. And I am I'm pretty hot on these. I think that is really great. So anyway, Trump, the unstoppable Trump, really. I mean, the immortal, right? The immortal Trump. Unbelievable, this guy. He gets shot. If he was in a war zone, he would qualify for a Purple Heart. That definitely qualifies for a Purple Heart. I can tell you that straight up. He got shot. Trump got shot. And that is really something else. That is crazy. And he's so far he's lived to tell about it. So we have the RNC, and I wanted to go to the RNC, but you know me, I'm a family guy, and I have to. I'm doing a play with the kids. RNC, and so Trump said he thought about moving the RNC, but decided against it. So the RNC starts today. the 15th through the 18th in Milwaukee. And it's really killing me that I'm not there. I can't believe I'm not there, but I can't be there. You can't be in two places at once. I got to play with the kids, and who knows? Everything. I have to believe that everything happens for a reason, right? And those dates didn't work for us. But Trump will be there, of course. You have all the people in there. Nikki Haley has somehow wormed her way into a speaking slot. They're actually talking about her being featured. It makes you wonder if the assassination attempt, if they're not that she was involved, but who knows? But that there was some setup there, because all of a sudden she was blacklisted. Basically, she wasn't even invited to come, and now she has kind of they're saying one of the premier slots to speak. She's wildly unpopular among the MAGA voters and among the Trump voters. So it's kind of interesting. What do you guys think of Trump's picks or the short list for VP? What are you guys thinking? He's supposed to let us know who he's picking at the RNC. So they're saying that he has 4 finalists. Let me add this back here to the screen. They're saying there's 4 finalists. I mean, who knows here? Trump teases his VP pick timing and names 4 finalists. The 4 finalists they are saying are, I thought it was going to give me a nice graphic here, but it didn't. No rush. His vice president running mate. Who would be this vice president running mate? Okay, here we go. We got Doug Byrne. I mean, I don't think Tulsi's in the final 4. There was a final 4 list. Let me just see here if I can pull it up. It was this guy, Doug Burgum, who is not very popular, really. Here we go, 14 minutes ago. Who are the candidates for Trump's VP pick? This guy right here, I think J.D. Vance is who let's tell you what. Do you guys know the paywall trick? Remove paywall. I think it's like that. You go remove paywall, boom, and then you up here you just put the URL of what you wanted to look at, and then bada bing, bada boom. Please enable JS and disable any ad blocker. Oh, guys, whatever. Okay, I'm over it. So anyway, it's JD Vance. I'm not going to do that on the air. So it's JD Vance. It's this guy, Doug Burgum. There was a nice graphic that they had. Who do you want? I wasn't really that crazy about any of them, to be honest with you, but I'm not expecting to be. I actually historically have not liked his picks. His initial cabinet, I liked for the most part. Once they got rid of General Flynn, it was like downhill from there. Former President Biden is Mar-a-Lago. J.D. Vance, Senator Marco Rubio, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. So this looks like this is the 3. Of course, you just never know who that's going to be. I think, it would be great to have General Flynn. I think that what we need to do in the United States, things like end the Fed, right? We need tough guys. We need tough guys. And I think that Trump, even though he's a tough guy, there's no question about that, man. He removed any doubts that he wasn't a tough guy. He is a tough guy. Obviously. That photo is iconic. That photo is absolutely iconic of him pumping his fist and saying, fight, fight, fight. I'm pulling up the photo here. There it is right there. That iconic photo now. And if we can talk also about the females. What a mess. I think, if I'm having somebody protect me, I want the big, huge man. I don't want the way. Look at her. She's even like ducking down, kind of protecting herself, it looks like. Anyway, they were a mess. Certainly. Yeah. If I hope he surprises me and names Flynn. I mean, that would be the move. But I follow Flynn. Flynn and I follow each other. General Flynn, and I just don't see the indicators that that's going to happen. I could be wrong, but it doesn't appear that way to me. But this photo is just unbelievable. Unbelievable what happened. Unbelievable the breakdown in intelligence agencies and police agencies for that to happen. Do you think it was an inside job? I think it had to be an inside job. It had to be. It had to be. I don't think there's no getting around it. Like there's no way to think that with what went on that it wasn't an inside job. Let's look at that again here. So this is the video, of course, of
Right there, see him?
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd get some beautiful places.
Look, they're all pointing.
watch, listen.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Instead of here with you fighting like hell to get a senator.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
There he is.
Easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug
right
dealers. We have people that
Right
should not
here,
be here.
right on the roof.
It's much tougher than
now.
it happens.
You went right on the roof again.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd get some beautiful places.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Where
Yeah,
are
someone's on
those
top of
people?
the
I want to
roof. Look.
interview those people. If
There
you
he is
know
right there.
those people, I want to interview them.
Right there,
I want to
see
bring
him?
them on the show.
He's laying down.
Yes,
See him?
Yeah, he's
inside
laying down.
job. Police department climbed the ladder and met the suspect and climbed back down. Why did the police department snipers
happening?
wait for the suspect to shoot before firing? Guys, at a certain point,
Yeah, look.
you
There he
gotta
is.
take the guy out. I mean, if I don't understand waiting either. Take the shot. You take the shot, guys. Don't fool around. Don't fool around. Okay.
We have people that should not be
Now,
here.
as well here,
It's much tougher.
we have this initial video put up. This video has gotten over 3 million views on X. My video here. My video is a relative term. You can see the X Facebook videos.
That's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the. That's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Very close to not having a Donald Trump there. Very, very close. And then what does that do? The police department on the roof, both roofs failed him. So the police department came onto the roof by a ladder with the guy, with the shooter, and then went back down. I mean, how does that even happen? I don't understand how that happens. Do you understand how that happens? Because I don't. I don't think that. I don't understand that at all. I also don't understand. So I have an eyewitness report as well. Let me just cue it up here. And this guy is saying that he warned the police as well. Hold on here. I gotta unmute this tab. All right, we are live here, guys. As I do my show live, right? We're live. Okay, here he is. This was on One Click News. Carried this. Listen to this.
And watch and listen to the rally. Right, we couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him up the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful, because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Unbelievable. There's going to be a lot of stuff, and you see already even the quality of that video, and that's just like kind of quintessential of what happens, right, during these events. It's unbelievable. They're going to kind of go on about this. Let's see here. The footage of the attempted assassination of President Trump shows. This is like we on and on here. I think that as I always say, guys, is we got to be honest with ourselves, because it's not about us. It's about our kids, and it's about our grandkids. And we allowed the assassination of Kennedy, and I wasn't around, say we, our parents, allowed, and the grandparents allowed the assassination of JF Kennedy, and they never demanded anything changed, and they never demanded what actually happened, and they just accepted the fact that they weren't going to be told what happened. And I'm here to tell you guys that this is not going to fly. If we continue to act like this, then we're not going to have a country left, and we're not going to have any freedom left. We're not going to have any freedom left at all. So this is what I'm about to play. A new footage of the attempted assassination of Trump shows attendees running away from the rally before the shooter opened fire. You can see the police officer walking very calmly as people run past the officer and move away to seeing the shooter move away after seeing the shooter on the roof with the gun. So this, guys, and this is what I was saying as well, that I think we need to come to terms with the fact that the rank and file guys, or whoever at least they had there, were in on it, or however you want to say it. I hate to say that, but take a look at this. I mean, you can see
Our country, probably 20 million people.
you can see the guy.
And, you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And
They
if you
know
want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Unbelievable.
Our country, probably 20 million people. And, you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And
They're running.
I want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Boom. Crazy, huh? Yeah, guys. So, of course, our next the next attempt will probably be something more like this. This poster says, with this failed Gladio attempt to assassinate Donald Trump via a quote-unquote lone wolf shooter, I suspect they will try again, only this time they will send a team and flood the zone with a full frontal assault like Anwar Sadat. God protect Trump. God protected Trump. I think there's no question about that. He certainly wasn't protected by the people that we pay. We pay the people. That money comes from you and me. We pay them. They didn't do their job. That's for sure. Walking around, he is obviously he's obviously a big target. A really unbelievable moment in the history of the country. We have some more eyewitnesses here, accounts. Now, what'll happen is, it's just like, and I'll play some videos of a previous event. So these, if we don't change something, these videos that we see of people and the interviews and everything like that, they will just go away and we'll never get anywhere. And now the FBI is the one investigating this, or I should say they're the ones covering it up, because nobody, and I mean nobody, actually believes that they're going to investigate anything. So here's another eyewitness here. Let's see here. This is another eyewitness account.
As Trump started, I noticed two officers that were looking
Sorry, this
for
is the Butler
something or
County
somebody.
DA.
I was looking around myself and seen a guy on top of one of the buildings go in between one building to the next, and
Sorry, that's not
went and
the
told the officer that he was up there. And when I went
I
back
would-
to my spot, I heard that people could still see the person from where they were standing. So I checked that out, and I went back to tell the officer that if he came over there, he could see them. And when I turned my back is when the shots started, and then it took me a second or two to figure out exactly what it was, and then it was just getting out of there and helping some other person out with her child, and we got out, and that was the end of that, and I went and left, and that was all.
So the viewers have some perspective. Behind us, okay, is the American Glass Research Company. Okay, can you kind of describe the building behind us, the tan building right there? Can you take a look at it? And then where was the shooter exactly?
There's more buildings behind the tan building that we can see, and we were back there, and there's two or three buildings behind that, and he was on both of them. I assume both of them when he went on that small section from one to the other, and that was where I last saw him, was the end of his day.
So this man was able to basically climb to the next building, and you told law enforcement, hey, there's a guy over there.
Correct. I don't know how he got up there. I don't know any of that, but I definitely saw him up there and went to the officer, and that was all I know.
Pretty unbelievable, guys. This is really something else here. I have more video here queued up, but that was, it's like I could have done a better job of securing the president. Okay, you could have done a better job of securing the president. For anybody to think that a sniper or whatever, which that guy was wearing, or at least volunteered for BlackRock. Okay, BlackRock is total cabal, completely cabal. You can't work there unless you're a cabal member. Sometimes I talk frankly, and sometimes I don't. I guess I'm not going to so much right now. But that was another witness account. Look, guys, anybody would have secured that rooftop. There is no excuse. It was absolutely 100%. There's no excuse. I don't think there's any way a logical person can think that wasn't left open on purpose. Whether they put the guy there, whether they used MK Ultra or one of these other mind control things, which is what I said. The CIA has known mind control technology, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, because people are like, oh, but everybody knows it. It's public record. Here's some more video that we have here.
And you know, that's a little bit. He's going down!
Stay over here.
Unbelievable. And you know, people did die. The gentleman died. He's got a daughter and everything. At least one died. I think the other person is okay. But just horrible, guys. And I'm sure there's a lot more videos that are gonna come out. But Secret Service needs to be completely routed out. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And we have this this woman, whatever her name is. You know, back in the day, we used to have a little bit of honor. And if something like this happened, you stepped down. But we have no honor anymore, apparently. Like this, the leader of the Secret Service, if it wasn't an inside job and she wasn't in on it, she should step down. Now, if she was in on it, I understand why she's not stepping down, because she's in on it. But if she wasn't in on it, she should step down. That's the honorable thing to do. We don't operate with honor really much anymore in this country. So it is interesting. So that, I'm sure there is some more video that will come out. That is about as much video as I am seeing out there at the moment. You can follow my X account. Make sure to follow me on X at Networks Manager, and I'll have more of the stuff as it comes out. The markets, as we've talked about, they could, as people start to have their hangover, they could start to move downwards. Totally possible. We've had a nice move up. So make sure to put in your stop losses. And do that. Pray for the country. Pray for President Trump. Pray for your kids. And let's put things in action. The Fed, Thomas Massey, a true patriot right here behind me. Thomas Massey just lost his wife after coming out against the Fed, wanting to end the Fed, introducing legislation to end the privately held central bank that is in control of the U.S., coming out against AIPAC, letting the world know that AIPAC has a handler. Every person in Congress has an AIPAC handler that they basically answer to or ask how to vote. His wife mysteriously died. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if that's why. And I shouldn't. I'm trying not to talk about it that much as well, because I know it's a very hard time. But it's no joke, guys. This is no joke. These times in history when we got to stand up and we got to save ourselves and we got to save our country. And we have to save humanity as it is. Because these people against us, they're actually against all of it. The Federal Reserve has actually taxed us into population collapse. People don't think that they have the money to have a family. They don't think that they have the money to get married and buy a house. In 1933, they confiscated everybody's gold. Everybody in the United States. People don't talk about this. Teddy Roosevelt did it along with the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the central banking cartel, and they confiscated everybody's gold. And they told them, if you don't turn in all your gold, we're going to fine you $10,000. And just to let you know how much inflation has gone up since then, $10,000 is about $1 million right now. $100x. That's what your family lost. They stole it. They stole it from you. They stole it from us. And that's why inflation's so high. That's why the wives have to go to work. That's why you can't still have a big family. Because these guys have been sucking us dry. Kept us at war. The IRS started the same year as the Federal Reserve. World War I started the year afterwards. The FBI was kind of, it's not so clear when they started. It started kind of with a memo. First big job, they say 1908, but who knows? I think it was actually a little later than that. But the first big job was quelling people that opposed World War I. Arresting them, spying on them, and arresting them. FBI should be closed down immediately. The CIA was started around 1950. I want to say it was 1947 or something like that. I have to look exactly. I've posted about it a number of times. But these organizations aren't working for America. First of all, they should be shut down anyway. But second of all, they should be shut down because they aren't working for us. And look at the Secret Service. Secret Service, I understand presidents need their Secret Service, so I'm not calling for abolishing the Secret Service at this moment, but it certainly needs an overhaul. That woman needs to be fired. If she doesn't have enough decency to step down, she should be fired immediately. And they are going to try again. They will try again to assassinate Trump. They will try. So Trump is going to be speaking at Bitcoin Nashville, Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville. That is going to be a heck of an event. That is the 25th through the 27th in Nashville, Bitcoin 2024. You can use the code IMPACTMONEY. You can use the code IMPACTMONEY in order to get a 10% discount. Witness history. Snowden is speaking. Oh wow. Look at this. Look at this lineup here, guys. You can follow the link. I'll put it on my X as well down below once I stop the broadcast. But if you are on YouTube or LinkedIn, you'll see the links right there. And if you're watching on X, I'll put it on there in a few minutes. This is going to be an unbelievable moment. Headliners: Donald Trump. His ear may still be patched up. You have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You have Kathy Woods, Michael Saylor, Russell Brand, Edward Snowden, Bill Miller. I've been part of this monetary revolution, been leading the monetary revolution now for over a decade. And I'll tell you what, guys, it is really something else to be in my shoes and to see it all happen like this, because Money 2020, there you go. 250 discount code. Oh, that's Money 2020. That's coming up as well. Money 2020 is going to be awesome. Bitcoin Nashville. Here we are. Impact Money. Use the code Impact Money. Get your tickets today. Come see us at Bitcoin 2024. Witness history. Bitcoin 2024. Nashville. Get your tickets today. Use the code Impact Money. 10% discount. And what we need to do is we need to send these guys packing. This is who owns the Federal Reserve. And their inflation is, I call the Rothschild's tax. Their tax is inflation. And it's important, I talk about it a bit, it's important that you all know who they are. It's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Warburgs, Goldman Sachs, Lehman, Kuhn Loeb, Lazard, Israel Moses Schiff, and Stillman. These are the families who own the Federal Reserve. It's a privately held entity. And they have the unfettered ability to tax you as much as they want. They tax you as much as they want. And that's why $10,000 from 1933 is $1 million now. Think about the house you can have with $1 million. Maybe your house is already $1 million. Think about buying that with 10 grand. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. We have to stop it. We have to stop it. Well, guys, it's been another great show. I do love doing the show. We get a lot of good information out there. I think that, hats off to our friends over at the Smart Money Culture TV Network, Smart Money Culture TV Network. My main man, Fly Mackey, the man with the plan, is doing an amazing job. We are really about to hit the big time. Adding, 100 new stations. We're going to be in front of 37 million viewers here in the coming months. If you would like to get a piece of that, if you want to get a piece of that, I want you to go over to Smart Money Culture TV. Go to Smart Money Culture TV Network. smartmoneyculture.tv and contact us. And you do that, and you send us a check so that we can grow. We are organizing some events as well during the UN General Assembly. It's going to be, as you can imagine, quite a few amazing things going on there. But it does take a lot of money in order to be on TV. It's not cheap. But the reason they don't let people on TV, the reason why everybody is just on social media, is because the ROI on TV is massive. The ROI on TV is $7 for every $1 spent. Those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. So we're doing quite well. But of course, when you add 100 stations at once, you need money to scale. So I don't want your last $100,000. I don't want your last $250,000. I don't want your last $500,000. But if you have $200,000 and you want to give us $100,000 so that we can operate, we'll pay you. We'll give you revenue share, and of course your money back. But we need that money to scale. If you like the show, if you like what we're doing, go to Smart Money Culture TV, contact us, tell them that Impact Money show is fantastic. I love what you guys are doing. I want to get involved. And I can tell you, we make it worth your time. We pay you a lot more than anybody else would, because it's a money business. Anyhow, I'm signing off. I will be back on in a few hours, back on your TV sets. Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.